If you're planning to leave the UK and you think your pension will just follow you abroad, I need to stop you right there because there's a tiny rule that most people only discover after they've moved. A rule that can quietly cost between 70,000 and 160,000 pounds over your retirement, and it's not that rare. More than 500,000 British pensioners are already affected. When I first started planning my move abroad, I thought the hard part would be visas, flights, or finding a place to live. But the real trap was hidden in the fine print, the part no one ever explains on travel vlogs. I'm Spence, and for the past 2 years, I've been digging into what it actually takes to start a new life outside the UK. Not the Instagram fantasy, the real numbers, paperwork, and trade offs that decide whether your dream actually works. And this pension issue? It's one of those things the government technically tells you about, but they've buried it so deep in their website that most people never see it until they're already gone. Let's break it down simply. Frozen pension sounds harmless enough, but it's brutal in practice. When you claim your UK state pension whilst living in certain countries, it gets locked at whatever rate you start with forever. No yearly increases, no triple lock, nothing. If you retire in 2025, the full UK state pension is £230.25 per week. That's it. In the UK, that amount goes up each year under the triple lock, whichever's highest inflation, average earnings growth, or 2.5%. But if you're in a frozen country, you stay on that £230.25. 10 years later, 20 years later, for life. So after 20 years, while pensioners back home may be getting £370 per week, you'll still be stuck at that 230. Independent estimates suggest losses of around 26,000 over 15 years, or as much as 160,000 over 30 years, depending on inflation and how long you live. Take Mary, a retired nurse who moved to Canada in 2004. Her pension started at £140 a week. 2 decades later, it's still £140. Inflation alone has wiped out nearly half her spending power. That's what frozen really means. So, which countries are affected? Here's where it gets confusing. You might think, like I did, that Commonwealth countries would be safe. We share history, laws, and even the same monarch. But no, the Commonwealth has nothing to do with pensions. Frozen countries include Canada, Australia, South Africa, as well as many, many others. If you're thinking about Asia on a budget, Thailand, frozen, Malaysia, frozen, Cambodia, frozen, India and Pakistan are also frozen. Okay, so now for some good news. Some countries do increase your pension every year, and these are the ones that with a reciprocal social security agreement with the UK. That list includes all EU countries and the EEA, that's Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein. The USA, Israel, Jamaica, Barbados, Bermuda, Mauritius, Turkey, Serbia, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man, and luckily for me, the Philippines. There's no logic to it. The Philippines gets uprated, Thailand doesn't. The USA gets uprated, Canada doesn't. It's all down to whether the UK signed an agreement. So never assume, always check before you move. Here's something I get asked all the time. What if I just spend part of the year abroad? Does my pension freeze? Good news, no it doesn't. For uprating, the Department of Work and Pensions only cares about where you normally live. Where you normally live. Your ordinary residence or the address you've registered with them. So if you're living in the UK and simply taking a long holiday abroad, your pension keeps rising, exactly as it would as if you were living all the time at home. But once you move your permanent address overseas, that's when this rule kicks in. If it's a frozen country, your pension rate locks at whatever you were getting on the date of when you left. Move back to the UK and you're bumped up to the new current rate. But you don't get those back payments for those frozen years away, so to speak. And if you later move back to a frozen country, it will freeze again on that new level. So remember, short term holidays don't affect your pension. Permanent relocation to a non uprated country does. Okay, I know what you're thinking because this is what I thought. I'll just keep a UK address. I'll say I'm staying with a relative or a mate. Job done. I'll keep getting the uprating. Here's the truth. That's risky, especially now. And here's why. The Department of Work and Pensions looks at where you actually live long term, not just what's written on a piece of paper. Using a UK address while genuinely living abroad to keep uprating can be treated as giving false information. For uprating, the key is your ordinary residence, where you normally live, your usual address. Short holidays won't count. Permanent relocation does. Gov.uk guidance and the International Pension Centre are the authorities on this. If you genuinely live in the UK and you have evidence that supports UK residents and they have none to the contrary, you're good. But if you don't, it's risky. Remember now, we're moving into an age with even more surveillance than we currently have in the UK, digital ID and so on. So it's best to get written confirmation from the International Pension Centre before you try anything. I personally would not try tricks or gaming the system. Let's talk about three most common mistake with all of this. Mistake one, assuming the Commonwealth means you're covered. It doesn't. Mistake two, not checking before you've sold your house, shipped your boxes, and settled abroad. It's hard and expensive to reverse the decision. If you move back years later, you'll get the current rate again, but no back payments for those frozen years. Mistake three, forgetting the proof of life rule. Very common mistake. Even in uprated countries, Department of Work and Pensions can send you a life certificate each year. You can also get it online. Miss it, and payments pause until they get it. It's not the end of the world, but it's another bit of bureaucracy that few mention. It's an easy thing to miss when you're daydreaming about beaches and cheap beer. All right, here's what actually to do. Step one, go to gov.uk. I've left some handy links in the description, and one of them shows clearly which countries have this reciprocal agreement. Step two, contact the International Pension Centre before you leave. You can email them or you can write to them. Their address is the Pension Service, 11 Mail Handling, Site A, Wolverhampton, WV98 1LW. And ask them, will my pension be uprated in whichever country you're going to? Ask them, what are the payment options? What proof of life rules apply? Any tax implications, and keep all copies of the correspondence. Step three, sort out your banking. Decide whether you're going to be paid into a UK bank, an international account, or through services like Wise or Revolut. It's strange, isn't it? You work your whole life, pay into the system, and assume the hard part's done. But unless you know these details, the system quietly moves on without you. Planning your dream home abroad is exciting, but protecting it takes awareness. Knowing the rules can mean the difference between eating out now and then or always cutting corners. Seeing family every year versus every few years. Okay, I'm not here to scare anyone. I'm just here to save you what could be a very expensive surprise. If this helped, please hit subscribe and share it with someone planning to move abroad because the dream doesn't stop at the airport. It's built on knowing the rules before you fly. This is Spence Unpacked, and I'll see you at the next one.